And welcome to Mastering Sales with Brent Gove. I'm your host today, and we got a great lineup of speakers for you today. They're going to help me do this. So, Miguel Garcia, unmute yourself. Benjamin Marquez, welcome, buddy. Aren't you glad you showed up? Unmute yourself. And then I'm also going to add, let's see, what was it I was going to add? Where is it? I'm looking. She hop off. I don't know. I had well, we'll start with Miguel and
Mark Wenzel was
So,
the top seller in Canada, 1,600 homes this
hold
year.
on, I can't hear you. I gotta turn you up. Yes, Joanne, what did you say?
Mark Wenzel is our top Canadian seller, 1,600 homes this past year. So
He's not
congratulations,
qualified
Mark.
to talk about sales.
Yeah, he's not qualified.
Anything.
Nothing. He's
He
awesome.
knows nothing. All right. I like it when you got people rooting for you. Respect. I've actually had Mark on before, so that's why I didn't call on him. But since you've been called out, no, I honor that. I like the shout outs. So Mark, unmute yourself. We'll start with you and Benjamin. So Benjamin Marquez. Benjamin is my dear friend. I love this guy. I hung out with him last week in Arizona and Phoenix. He is a rock star. Benjamin, what I want you to do is give people some advice on what you're doing in this market, because you're kicking butt, you're taking names, you're doing well. What would you tell people to? You built a rev share team of well over 100 agents and brokers in the Phoenix area. What would you advise people to do? What are you doing right now to succeed in this market from a sales perspective?
Well, I would say just the approach, right? I would always tell people I've been pretty successful. I mean, I played sports my whole life. I was in corporate America, started my own logistics company, and now I'm in real estate. I've done very well in every single area, and it's always by doing the same thing, right? Fixing whatever the problem is, wherever I'm at, right? If you're playing in a team, there's something that the team is missing, and if you could feel that, you will be the top person on that team, the most valuable person on that team. So in this market,
give us an example right now in this market, what problem you're solving.
So right now, the biggest problem that I'm solving is homes in our market, even though they're not getting multiple bids, and especially with the COVID market, right? People got spoiled. They think they're going to sell it for top dollar, and they think they're going to get multiple bids. So in this market, what I'm doing is I created a new program where I'm helping people get their properties in tip-top condition, so they look better than everyone else's listing. And then we end up selling it, maybe not with multiple offers, but we're selling every single one of them in less than 10 days because they're the best listing available.
So you're offering to help them fix up their home with cash, but you're getting the listing because of it, right?
Correct.
All right. And then in some cases, you're even splitting some of the proceeds with them of the upside?
Correct. There's a fee for the whole thing, right? So I charge a fee for all of it. So in some situations, I mean, on a regular listing, I can make more than a flipper can, you know?
Right. So you get paid to list it.
Yeah.
And then if you find the buyer, you get paid for the listing. You got your own private MLS inventory. You can actually bring the buyer. Yeah. And then you're also going, hey, if you want to do this, I'll invest my money. Do you have a bunch of money laying around, or do you have somebody that helps fund you? How does that work?
I came up with the idea. So then the other piece is raising the money, right? Raising the money. So I had to go back to my previous contacts. My biggest client was the second biggest manufacturer of auto parts and airplane parts in all of Mexico. I know his net worth, what his net worth is in the billions. So I reached out with the idea, and he's funding the whole operation. So, I mean,
so who do you know who's rich? And then how do you compensate him? Do you go, I'll give you 20% on your money, or can you share much into that?
Yeah, well, I invest in stock, right? So if you know stock, he invests in stock. I pulled out what the S&P is doing, because I know at the very least, I mean, even if he's beating the S&P, it isn't by that much. So then I run the percentages as to how much he would make off of flip partnering with me. Because a lot of the times what's happening, and I wasn't expecting it, is I'm flipping a lot of homes now. Like, yes, I will help someone flip their house, but if it's in complete despair, I cannot invest 6 figures on a property and run the risk. So then I just buy cash from them and I flip it myself. So because of the program, I'm actually getting a lot of layup flips.
So you guys getting this? He created this. He solved the problem. People want to sell their home. They didn't have the money to fix it up. He says, I'll provide the money. If it's too big of a job, he goes, I'll just make you a cash offer, buys the home, then he does it himself. You got to know the value of the home. So go to a pro, a friend of yours in real estate who can not BS you and say, here is, and it's pretty easy. Look at what's pending. Where do the homes look like that are pending? That's what's selling. That's where you need to be priced at. Not what's sold 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago. That's really, really bad. Right. What is pending is the current value of properties. Be very careful. And then if you got an oddball, throw it out. Sometimes people like me, I probably overpaid here in Puerto Rico, but I just wanted to live on the ocean. And I gave them an extra $100,000 a month for 4 months. In 4 months, I paid them an extra $400,000 for 4 months, $100,000 a month, because I wanted the house.
Right.
I'm not a great comp. So if you think it's worth what I paid, you're wrong. I overpaid, but I wanted to live on the ocean in this specific house. And I'm super happy I did it, but you could get burned. So great.
Well, I'll add this for if anyone's thinking about flipping. What Brent's advice, what he just gave, is the most important advice when flipping. Do not aim for like the best sell out there. Aim for the most average sell there. So therefore you will always win, because if the average sell sold for that much and your house is that much better, you're guaranteed to make a lot of money. Guaranteed. And if the numbers don't fit, don't do it. Don't do it. You know?
The other thing I would say, and Ben will probably back me up, is flip quickly. Those of you analyticals, if you're analytical, do not get in the flipping business. You guys drive me crazy. It took me 2 years to do it perfectly. You know, you need to flip the home in a month. The carpet, paint, flooring, light fixtures, you could do it in 2 weeks. You need to think about in terms of 10 days.
10 days.
Let's go. Move. That the taking time bites you in the bottom in a market like this. Do you agree with me, Ben, or disagree?
Correct. You have to be able to do it in 10 days. If you can't do it in 10 days, don't bother. Don't bother. You're gonna lose money. Right. Great advice. Great advice. So yeah, I mean, just a program. Now I'm coming out with marketing. Eventually, if it works, it's working very well. I've been
how many potential flips do you have right now in your back pocket? And it's private inventory for you to double end. How many do you have? Do you have 5, 6?
I have 11 right now. 11.
Who anybody like want more inventory? He's got 11, and he'll be the listing agent. If he brings the buyer, that's 22.
Right.
22, and then the home's in mint condition. He's getting paid on the flip upside. If he buys it outright, there's that. There's so many benefits. I'm going to go to Mark to wrap it up today. Ben, thank you. Ben's Ben, I call him Ben. Ben Marquez from Phoenix, Arizona. Love Ben. Real quick, Mark, sales tip. If somebody's working with a buyer or a seller, what sells it, or to get a buyer list leads or seller leads? It doesn't have to be a tip, but something related to that. What do you recommend? I mean, you're the top dog in all of Canada. What would you say to people?
It was crazy that he said solve the problem, because that's immediately what comes to my head. Like, you have to solve the problems out there. So part of this is, and I'm going to answer your question, part of this is mindset, and Brent absolutely, like he always does, nailed it right at the beginning. And this is all about you and you deciding that you can do this and committing yourself to it. Because it's like, oh my God, all these agents are starting to drop off, and this is opportunity. This is when there's opportunity for you. And I can just tell you right now, we were in the absolute worst market on the planet in Calgary, Alberta, and I did 18 deals, which sounds like a lot, in 2018. I was all wrapped up in my head. I had a bunch of personal issues that happened. The next year I did 207. And how did I do that? First of all, I pulled my head out of my butt. I started working with people that held me accountable and pushed me to a higher level. And then when I started, I noticed that the builders were having problems. They were having problems selling inventory. So I went in and I started working with builders, and eventually it led to selling entire projects for them. So we won't get into that, but you know what? You can go in and just start talking to builders. I was in Tampa Bay last week. I went and visited a whole bunch of builders, and I asked them, your top agents, how many buyers do they bring in? They're like, maybe 5 or 6. And I'm in what period of time? They're like 2 years, 1 year, like such an amazing opportunity. You can take, those guys are buying down interest rates right now. You can place an ad and put it out on Facebook Marketplace for free and go, how about $499 for interest rate? How about $399 for interest rate? Don't tell them who the builder is. Don't tell them who the community is. So they have to call you, and they're going to go, okay, where is it? Where is it? And you're going to have to hold them off and go, okay, I'm going to get to that. Let's just talk about a bunch of questions, and then you're going to qualify them. And if they're not qualified, they're going to go get qualified, and you're going to give them the information. This is like, and if you have money to spend on ads, keep doing this. This is how I started it a few years ago, and it ended up being the biggest cash cow we ever had, ever. It got crazy what we were doing in the worst market I had ever seen in 26 years. I'm talking like 2009 in the US. It was so bad. So
how many closings did you do last year?
It's not necessarily on closings. It's in about a 2.5 year period, we did about 2,400 sales. And so it's all new homes. And when they close, so they're stretched out over 5 years. Some of the projects close in a year, sometimes it's a year and a half, sometimes it's 4 or 5 years if it's high rise. So this year, my GCI was in the 1.6 million, 1.7 million range, but I barely did any sales. I'm working on other stuff right now. So although all that money's coming in from sales that I had done in the last couple of years.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. So here's Benjamin solving the problem with flipping, right? And then he's solving it that way. Mark's looking at how they're buying down the rates and offering 4.9%. So you write that ad and you say, are you interested in a 4.9% interest rate? Call me. I have properties you could buy right now at 4.9. Call me. And that's the free ad on Marketplace. Why not you? Why not you do that? What could it hurt? And then I'm going to role play with you real quick, Mark. Hey, Mark, I saw your ad 4.9. Where is it? How in the world are you doing 4.9? Is this a gimmick?
No, it's not a gimmick. It's absolutely the truth. We have a bunch of partners we work with, and you can get as low as $399. It could be as high as $599. It depends on a lot of different things. So let's just chat for a second. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? Fantastic. Sure. What kind of what are you looking for? Are you
didn't wait for my answer?
I don't even care what the answer is. I just want to go. What kind of property are you looking for? Do you have a budget? Have you been pre-qualified? Like obviously, I'm giving them a little bit of time to answer.
I want to buy $1 million to $1.5 million in West Calgary.
The funny thing is some people answer the ads, and when I call them and they pick up, I go, hey, I'm calling just to answer all your questions. And it's hilarious because this works every time. I just start reading off a pile of questions. I don't even let them start asking me questions because I want to qualify them really quick. Because it's a waste of our time and it's a waste of my time if I sit there and I make too much chit chat and whatever, because you're in a market that's really tough right now. You're going to have to talk to more people to get more deals, but you can load your deck and load your pipeline with people who are, let me tell you this. You know what these guys are telling me? They get projects that they've got 5, 6, maybe 8 properties left in it. And this market is there's so much you can do with new homes. Then the sales team moves on. They need an agent to go in there and just sell off those last few properties. And any buyers you get while you're there, that if you've exhausted the inventory, you can take the buyers and go buy stuff. These guys are coming to the show home, looking for something. Most of them are pre-qualified already. Maybe they're coming out from out of town. I was just laughing, like there's so much opportunity when the chips are down and everything looks really, really bleak. So load your deck, talk to the guys that are crushing it. They're gonna pump you up and they're gonna give you lots of great ideas.
Wow, that's great. Is that 3.99 or 5.99 30-year fixed, or is it just fixed for 5 years?
I didn't even really get into it too far. It's, you know what they do is a lot of them do it for a year or two, and the next year or two it's at a slightly higher rate, and then at the next year or two it's at a slightly higher rate. So they're buying it down. You know, it's a $20,000, $25,000 incentive. They don't have to take it. They can do something else, like maybe 25,000 towards their, if it's pre-con, you know, towards their interior selections and upgrades or stuff like that. They're like, watch the builders when the chips are down and things start to slow down. These guys start doing crazy stuff because they've been there before. Anybody know who DR Horton is?
Yeah.
These
Totally.
guys have been, of course, everybody does. These guys have done. They've been through every cycle possible. They paid agents all the way through the good times in the last couple of years here. Brilliant. You know why? And they're paying them all top dollar 3% because they knew shit was going to hit the fan again, and they were going to need the agents. And right now they welcome me with open arms. Here's the red carpet.
So, quick question, Mark. You found out I'm a buyer for $1 million in Calgary. I'm motivated. You can tell I work for the county and I've got great credit, and I've already talked to, you know, the big mortgage company, and you could tell I got my act together. What's next? What do you say to me? Let's go meet at the property or come down to the office. What do you say?
Depending on the client, like it's going to be a lot of times I'll want to meet at their house or at my office. And I want to meet them there, and maybe neutral ground, might be Tim Hortons. You guys don't have it, Starbucks, whatever, and sit there and have a chat with them. And I want to get to know them a little bit. I want them to be locked into me, so I let them talk and I let them tell me all about themselves and their family and their dog and their where the kids go to school, which I know is extremely important in the U.S. And you know, the neighborhoods that you're going to go in, where the schools are, and then I talk about, I've already gotten point form. I've already role played it. I already know what I want to talk about. And then I tell them all about me, and I tell them how I got into real estate, because I had a terrible experience dealing with show home reps, dealing with agents that they just didn't, you could tell they didn't care about me. And I said, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm gonna be amazing at this, because I'm gonna treat every single person like it's my family and like I'm buying it. And I'm gonna tell them when I think it's a shit place, like you're not gonna make any money on this down the road, or I think this is an amazing one. I'm gonna tell you when there's a bonus on it. They're paying me an extra $10,000 because I want you to know that I'm not telling you it's a great place because it's the bonus. I'm telling you because I think it's a great place.
Right.
And I just completely transparent. And that's how I treat everybody. I treat everybody as my family. And I'm not going to sleep at night if I put them in the wrong place. Then they're like, when you're going, okay, hey, we need some paperwork that, and I tell them, I only can work with 3 buyers this month because I'm a listing agent. I only work with 3 buyers. I've got room to work with you this month if you want to work with me. I love you. I think you guys are fantastic. I think we work really well together. Would you like to work with me? And they're like, where do we sign? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
It's
like
so
that.
good.
So you do the takeaway, and they want to work with you.
I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I've only got room to work with 2 more buyers. Would you like to be one? Because once I fill up, I'm up. And they don't know whether you have 2 or 20. That's
Right.
not a number. I've got to go for time, but I want to say this, Mark. Thank you. That was super good. Ben, thank you. I appreciate you guys stepping up to the plate like that. By the way, Mark, you're in Calgary. What's the temperature right now? I'm just dying to know.
You know what? It's in the I'm going to say Celsius, so it's probably, I don't know, 40 degrees.
Is that our
40
temperature?
degrees, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's probably 4 or 5, I think, outside.
I love Canadians. They wear a jacket in their house. You think it's cold where you live? You have to wear a jacket in the house. Hey, Mark, we love you, man. Ben's in Phoenix.
Thanks
He's got
so
his
much, guys.
shirt open. He's all, 72 degrees out there. Love you guys. We'll see you next week right here, same place, same time. Don't miss it. 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 1% Club, and then Mastering Sales at 2:10 Pacific, 5:10 Eastern. Bye for now. See you guys.